Unity, it is the binding force that keeps us together. As a school, our teachers bound us together to open up the doors of knowledge. As students, we are bound together by the drive to achieve greatness. As a family, we are bound by love. My own family has kept me on track. It is my family, with their love and support, that I am humbly on the path to success. As friends, we are bound to a group committed to helping us when we may fall short and creating lifelong memories. As a community, we are bound together to better ourselves and help others in need, no matter the obstacle. And finally, as a nation, we are bound under our Constitution, the promise of freedom, blissful bells of liberty, and God, our Creator. It is Him to whom I owe all of the glory and praise. As our flag majestically flows freely, our nation stands firm. As we gather here today to celebrate the first commencement of Southland College Prep Charter High School, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
While the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us swear allegiance to the land that's free. Let us all be grateful to the land so fair, as we pledge allegiance to a land that's there. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for ample ways of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea, from the mountains to the prairie, to the ocean, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Welcome to the first commencement for Southland College Prep Charter High School. I am Andrea Kidd, Director of Special Education, Pupil Personnel Services, and Day-to-Day Operations at Southland College Prep. And it is my honor and privilege to preside over this commencement on behalf of the Southland Board of Education, our CEO, Dr. Blondine Y. Davis, the administration, faculty, and staff of Southland College Prep Charter High School. Thank you, Dr. Cope and Sarabi, for opening our program. Sarabi Woods is ranked number 3 in the class of 2014 with a GPA of 4.68. Sarabi is a member of the track team, tennis team, National Honor Society, the National Forensics League, and has been a 4-year member of Southland's Ambassador Band, where she held the position of first chair flutist. She held the office of treasurer in the Interact Club and was recently recognized as ambassador for the National Honor Society of High School Scholars. In the fall, Sarabi will attend Northwestern University, where she will major in creative writing with the hopes of becoming a scriptwriter and film director. At this time, please join me in recognizing the faculty and staff who have fostered the education of our graduates. Faculty and staff who are here today, would you please stand? It is now my pleasure to introduce the first class of 2014 salutatorian, Neka Onyeka. Neka will deliver our welcome address for the class. Neka is a young lady who shows a promising future. With a solid 4.68 GPA and ranking 2nd in her class, she is the epitome of a stellar student. Alongside her academics, Neka was an active member in Southland's speech team, winning countless awards throughout her 2-year stint with the team. She also qualified for the National Forensics Competition for the 2nd year in a row and will be traveling to Kansas, where she will compete this summer in original oratory. Neka has proven to be an outstanding citizen in and out of the classroom, where she is a member of the National Forensics League, National Honor Society, and the Senior Class Student Council President. In the fall, Neka will be attending Northwestern University with plans to major in biological sciences. Later on in her life, she hopes to return to her village in Nigeria and administer medical help to those in need. Please help me welcome Neka Onyeka.
Four years ago, we began our journey to Mars, and we have finally completed the journey. The journey that was the ultimate test of strength, courage, and most importantly, faith. Of course, not everyone survived. Only those who were willing to stay from 8 in the morning till 5 in the evening stayed on this ship. Only those willing to set aside the desires of now in order to reap the benefits of life to come have stayed on this journey. Even though we are near its end, we are still on a trip to a place where we will see what we have never seen and experience what we have yet to experience. The class of 2014 has boarded this spaceship and is preparing for landing. Good afternoon, parents, loved ones, teachers, and administration. Welcome to Southland College Prep Charter High School's first commencement ceremony for the class of 2014. We appreciate your attendance at this historical occasion. Today marks a day of much celebration, a day of triumph and success. This day serves as a day of reflection as we look at how far we have come and where we have yet to go. On August 16th, 2010, we boarded our spaceship toward Mars. Now, if I can recall correctly, everyone wasn't as happy about this trip as I was. I mean, if you think about it, the chat was a little bit unique. The trip was unique. We had to stay on board this flight for 9 hours, and they still expected us to do work. Yeah, I was surprised too. I have no idea how I was able to make it work, but I know one factor was change. Wayne Dyer has noted, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And so we did. We altered our view of Mars. It was not easy, but as we got closer, it became real. We did not tolerate, instead we accepted. We have accepted our destiny and made it our own. By changing our view of Mars, we are able to explore the galaxies without forgetting the destination, Mars. And with that, we are here today. You know, many people like to look at what is and fail to realize what could be. 4 years ago, if someone told me I was going to Mars, I would pause, scream, and then dial 911. But today is different because I am different. We are different. All I knew about this journey was that it was going to be lengthy and tiresome. Little did I know how much this trip would affect me. We have truly stepped into our greatness. And for that, Dr. Davis, we are thankful. Today, we have landed on Mars. Although Mars is a great place to be, we must take in the view and then move on. We must move on to our next planet, our next endeavor. For tomorrow, we'll be boarding our spaceship to Jupiter, a place that is too filled with mystery and awe. Remember, seniors, always shoot for the moon, because even when you miss, you'll be amongst the stars. Thank you for supporting our journey to Mars. In class of 2014, enjoy the rest of your adventure.
Thank you, NECA. We will now hear a selection from the Southland High School Concert Choir under the direction of our own Dr. Sterling Culp.
Father's house there are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. In my Father's house there are many mansions. In my Father's house there are many mansions. In my Father's house there are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you.
Thank you, Dr. Culp, and the Southland Concert Choir. It is a tremendous honor for me to call forward the class of 2014 Valedictorian, Nadia Ferrer. Nadia ranks number 1 in the class with a GPA of 4.72. Nadia has been a CEO scholar for the four consecutive years, and during her time at Southland, she served as president of Southland's chapter of the National Honor Society. Southland has given Nadia the opportunity to gain early exposure to her career aspirations through participation in several academic summer programs, such as the University of Chicago's Young Scholars Program for Mathematics, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology Engineering Experience, and the University of Wisconsin-Madison's Engineering Summer Program. Nadia has accumulated over $1 million in scholarships from a variety of colleges. In the fall, Nadia Ferrer will be attending Tufts University, located in Medford, Massachusetts. There, she will study human factors engineering. As an engineer, she will be granted the opportunity to design and innovate all things from the present to the future. Please welcome Nadia Ferrer.
For some of us, when we graduated from middle school, we didn't think that anything related to that chapter of our lives would ever be seen again. Little did we know, on August 16th, 2010, each and every single one of us returned to a similar middle school building to visit those same pages of our personal history books. The story, however, was told a little differently. Good afternoon, teachers, administration, friends, and family, and thank you for joining us in celebrating Southland's historic commencement. By definition, history is the whole series of past events connected with someone or something. History is what generations come to admire. It is what we strive to achieve. 4 years ago, there was no history for us to repeat or even transcend. Together, we had to build a foundation that would stand in even the toughest of storms. Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "Do not follow where the path may lead, go instead where there is no path and leave a trail." Emerson could not have tied these words together in a better fashion. To put it simply, this quote has been the epitome of Southland's existence. From the initial 125, it is those remaining that have been the true trailblazers. A famous Belgian music artist of this century is just that, a trailblazer. Paul van Haber, known by his stage name Stromae, is a product of a Rwandan father and a Dutch mother who began his career in the fine arts. Through drama, video production, and music, Van Haber has been able to reach crowds across the world, despite singing mostly in French. It is not just one element that people admire about him, but rather it's his unique beats, combination of different genres, his original style, confidence, and most importantly, his message. His vision of bringing the world together with mixes of different cultures incorporated in each of his songs is what makes him a true trailblazer. Throughout these past years, I have seen these same unique qualities within some of my classmates. Nneka Onyeka encouraged us as Southland's first student body president. Ashley Jackson led the National Honor Society as its first president ever. Elijah Calloway went to Costa Rica to immerse himself in the Spanish culture. Miranda Owens, as you will see shortly, is a phenomenal singer. Kirsten Burks is an amazing artist. Brianna Tate, Clinique Childs, and Leah Mitchell are some of the best dancers I've ever seen. Dante Nix and Reggie Holmes are beyond musically talented. Helena Anania Kohler, Asia Jenkins, and Brittany Thompson are mathematically talented. And the list could go on. But it should not stop here. In each of our yearbooks, the common closing is, stay cool or stay who you are and don't ever change. But what you should know is that you should change. In these coming years, you should take what you've learned these past years at Southland and allow yourself to emerge into a new you, the best you. In the course of your college career, I'm going to need all of you to stay on your path and continue to trailblaze into your new environment. When I was younger, my family, especially my mother and sister, encouraged every one of my dreams, from being a veterinarian, to an actress, to an engineer. With their love and their support, they helped me to believe that with my faith in God and looking to Him for guidance, I could do anything I put my mind to. I have come to the realization that this is the mindset that needs to endure and not be killed off during childhood. Or worse, when we actually step into the real world on the next chapter of our lives. So congrats, you guys. We may have started from the bottom, but we have most certainly risen to the top.
Thank you, Nadia. It is now my pleasure to introduce Miranda Owens with the musical selection. Miranda's singing journey began in 7th grade when she met the talented Dr. Culp and sang her first solo. While performing extensively, Miranda maintained a 3.86 GPA during her senior year. Miranda was also a member of the National Honor Society, Interact Club, along with a multitude of other organizations. In choir, she has been awarded the Outstanding Soprano and Female Soloist Award, and also received a bronze medal at the statewide singing competition. Miranda will miss the Southland family, but she plans to begin the next chapter of her life at Lawrence University, where she hopes to continue her musical journey. At Lawrence, Miranda plans to study vocal music and instrumental music, all while working towards becoming an obstetrician and a gynecologist. Please welcome Miranda Owens.
We'll find a new way.
simply lovely. Thank you, Miranda. At this time, I would like to invite Morgan Brown to the podium to introduce our guest speaker. Morgan is ranked number 4 in the class with a GPA of 4.66. Morgan is a member of the Student Council, the National Honor Society, and the National Forensic League. Morgan won the IHSA State Championship in Dramatic Duet Acting along with a junior, bringing home the first state championship to Southland along with her partner, Alexis Newsom. In the same year, Morgan won the August Wilson Monologue Competition at the Goodman Theater, which qualified her for the national competition in New York. Most recently, Morgan was named to the IHSA All-State Group Interpretation Cast for her performance in Southland's group interpretation, The Bluest Eye, which also placed second in the state. In addition to that, Morgan also placed third in the state in poetry reading at the IHSA State Speech Individual Events Tournament. Morgan will be attending the University of Pennsylvania Wharton School of Business with a $210,000 merit scholarship. There, she will major in business. Please welcome Morgan Brown.
Richard Joseph Durbin is a senior United States Senator from Illinois, in office since 1997. He has been the Senate Majority Whip, the second highest position in the Democratic Party leadership in the Senate since 2007. After earning an undergraduate and law degree from Georgetown University, Durbin opened a law practice in Springfield, Illinois, served as legal counsel to then Lieutenant Governor and future Illinois U.S. Senator Paul Simon, as well as to the Illinois Senate Judiciary Committee, and also worked as an adjunct professor at the Southern Illinois School of Medicine. He was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives in 1982, representing the Springfield-based 20th Congressional District. The new congressman soon took on big tobacco companies, one of the most powerful and influential special interests in the country. He won a ban on smoking on commercial airline flights of less than 2 hours in 1988. A ban eventually expanded to all domestic flights, launching a movement that has greatly improved the health and safety of generations of Americans. His success in taking on powerful interests on behalf of hard-working, middle-class families gained traction when, in 1996, Senator Durbin ran for and won the U.S. Senate seat of the retiring Paul Simon by an unexpected 15-point margin. Senator Durbin was re-elected in 2002 and again in 2008 for the term ending January 3, 2015. He has served as Senate Democratic Whip since 2005 and assumed his current title when the Democratic Party obtained a majority in 2007. Senator Durbin has vigorously challenged the status quo to protect average Illinoisans. He led both Republicans and Democrats in forging an important compromise that passed Congress and was signed by the President in 2013, capping student loan rates and making college more affordable for middle-class families and their children. Ranked as one of America's 10 best senators by Time magazines, Mr. Durbin is currently the first Illinois senator in 56 years to hold the post of second in leadership in the U.S. Senate, positioning him well to continue taking on the tough fights for Illinois middle-class families and our state's economic interests. Please welcome Southland's first commencement guest speaker, the Honorable Senior Senator from Illinois, Senator Richard Durbin.
I told her I was both. How about a round of applause for Morgan Brown? There's a saying I like. It says, speak your mind, even if your voice shakes. Morgan, you didn't have to worry about your voice shaking, but I expect you're going to be using your voice to shake up the world. It's easy to see why you're the Illinois High School Association State Speech Champion. In a reception we had ahead of time, someone asked me, when did you meet Dr. Blondine Davis? And I said, does anyone ever meet her? You meet a person, but she is a force, a magnetic force that brings you in. And it's been such an honor to see what she has done, to see this first commencement. Members of the Southland College Prep Board, Dean Mason, faculty, staff, parents, relatives, friends, and most of all, this historic class of 2014, the first ever graduates of Southland College Prep Charter High School. Congratulations and amen, you did it. The class of 2014 is all in. And when I look at these graduates, and particularly at the National Merit Scholars, there are a lot of people to thank. Well, you could thank Dr. Davis, the administration, the faculty, the parents, all their role models. But you know who I thank? I thank our founding fathers. I thank the men who wrote the Constitution of the United States of America. And you know why I thank them? Because in that Constitution in the United States of America, it says that you cannot run for the United States Senate until you're 30 years old. That means I get a break and I don't have to face any of them in an election for a number of years. To the parents, thank you. Thank you for standing by your student. Thank you for being part of this experience. Dr. Davis told me on Parent-Teacher Night at Southland she has one major concern. Are we going to have enough chairs? How about a round of applause for the parents? This is their day too. It was a little over 4 years ago when the Illinois State Board of Education asked Dr. Davis what's going to be different about Southland College Prep. She looked at the commission members and she said, and I quote, "We are going to succeed." That's how we're different. We're going to succeed. And there you have it. Thank you, Dr. Davis, for your leadership and your vision. You see, she's been in education for a few years, and she's been gathering notes in a little black book all through that experience. Ideas that have worked in schools and education. She's putting it all together in her mind. She said it doesn't matter where a child grows up, the neighborhood they live in, or how much money their parents make. If you do certain things, that child will learn. Eagles, you're proof. Dr. Davis was right. Dr. Davis also made a promise. 4 years ago, she promised you as students and parents to put your trust in this new adventure. She said, if you will stick with me, if you will work hard for 4 years, we're going to make sure that every member of this historic Southland Prep class of 2014 will go to college. Promises made, promises kept, all in. Have you ever heard two more hopeful words? Every single member of this graduating class, every single member has been accepted into a college, and I'm talking about a real college. We're talking about some of the best colleges and universities in the world: Columbia University, Cornell, University of Pennsylvania, Vassar, Morehouse, Spelman, University of Illinois. I could keep on reading. But there was a second part to that promise, and a very, very important one. Dr. Davis said, not only will you get into college, we're going to work with you to make sure that every family has the resources to pay for college. Now, we've heard some astonishing reports over the last few weeks about the total value of scholarships offered to this historic class. The total went from $5.5 million to $6 million, $6.5 million, almost $7 million, and the offers just kept coming to these wonderful students. Well, Dr. Davis has given me the honor to announce to you today that the final total value of all the scholarships, merit scholarships, offered to the Southland Prep class of 2014 is $7,659,000. This is the right moment also for a round of applause for Ron Anderson, possibly the best college counselor in America. Well, I'm looking out at this class, and I see some of you are going to graduate from college summa cum laude, some of you magna cum laude, some of you cum laude. I graduated from college, thank you, Laude. The stars in this class, you've already met some of them. Neka, Anyaka, class salutatorian, I hope I got her name almost right. Senior class president, National Merit Scholarship. Nadia Ferrer, class valedictorian. She received scholarship offers you've already heard, $1 million plus. Next year headed to Tufts in Massachusetts. What a school. I wish I could tell everybody's story, because everyone has a great story in this class. On the other hand, I understand that I may be the last thing standing between you and celebrating and receiving that diploma. And it's like they used to say, it's like I'm kind of like commencement speaker. I'm like that body at an Irish wake. I'm a necessary part of the ceremony, but you don't expect me to say much. So let me tell you two stories about two real people that I know. One of them I hope you can identify with, because he comes from Chicago. His name is George Page, and I think maybe, there he is. There's a picture of George. George grew up in the Auburn-Gresham section on the south side of Chicago. Went to the Chicago public schools. By the time he was a little kid, age of 5, he thought, I want to be an inventor. He was inspired by stories about a great uncle on his mom's side. Incidentally, his mom, Evelyn, is here tonight. Let's give her a round of applause. She told him stories about one of his ancestors named Roger Lomax, who was a physician in Virginia and an inventor. And George somehow got the notion, hearing this story about one of his ancestors, that he was going to be an inventor someday. So at the age of 8, he made a battery charger, but he wasn't quite ready for prime time. He accidentally stuck one of the leads in an electric socket and blew up. He got a little better after that. He went to the Chicago public schools, then he went to a school that I believe one of our graduates here is going to, the North Carolina A&T State University. And at that school, George Page of Chicago, Illinois, studied chemical engineering. After college, he worked as a chemical plant engineer and a plant supervisor, but he wanted to come home to Chicago. In the year 2000, George Page moved back to Chicago. He was given the responsibility of being the lead engineer at the Chicago City Water Department to make sure that all the drinking water available to the millions of people in Chicago was safe and pure. He took the job very seriously. but he still had in his mind that he was going to be an inventor someday. Well, after 9 years at that department, he heard about a terrible tragedy in Haiti. You may remember it. It was just about the time that Dr. Davis first started trying to persuade people to start Southland College Prep. There was a major earthquake in Haiti, just devastated it. That was in January of 2010. Haiti at that time was the poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere, and the earthquake made it dramatically worse. 220,000 people died. More than 1.5 million were left homeless. Many millions were left without clean water. And George Page of Chicago, Illinois said to himself, what can I do? How can I use my training and my knowledge to come up with an invention that could help? It was 6 months later, George made his first trip to Haiti. He said Haiti looked like the south side of Chicago meets Pakistan. People were living in tent cities. He saw people buying water in 5-gallon plastic containers. Families spending about 15% of their income just for drinking water, about $3.50 a week just to get the water they needed for their family. Haiti isn't alone that way. Around the world today, 800 million people don't have access to clean, safe water. Worldwide, 1 out of every 5 deaths of children under 5 is due to a water-related disease. 1 child dies every 15 seconds because of dirty, contaminated water. In many poor nations, women and children will walk for hours every day to get water to drink, and sometimes it's just filthy water, but it's all they have. A poor nation can't break out of poverty when its people are so busy just collecting the basic necessity of life, water. And they get sick from drinking dirty water. They can't go to work, they can't go to school, and sometimes babies and others die. George Page of Chicago, Illinois saw this. So you know what he did? He took his life savings and he started working on an invention. A water filtering system that would be faster, simpler, and cheaper than what was available. He developed something he called Pocket Pure, a small water filter device that folds up so small you can put it in your pocket. Pocket Pure was recognized as one of the top 30 emerging clean technologies in the world, one of the top 3 in the world when it comes to water. George went back to Haiti. He took this invention with him, gave it to 100 families living in these tents in Port-au-Prince in Haiti. He worked with nonprofit groups to distribute these units to other poor nations. He sent them to Japan when the tsunami struck there. He kept working to make his product better. He invented a new filtration system that uses gravity to filter out viruses, bacteria, dangerous sediment, and chemicals. And this is what he came up with. Take a look at this. Thank you, Trina. This is what George invented. It looks like something you might take on a picnic, doesn't it? You can pop the top off of this, the lid off of this, and let me tell you what you get. This is called Pure Lives. It's a 5-gallon container. Got straps on it, so you can wear it like a backpack. You pour water through the top, any water you can find, runs through 3 layers of filters and fibers, no chemicals whatsoever. Within 2 minutes, you have clean, pure drinking water coming out of the spout at the bottom. You know how George proved to me that this worked? He showed me a video where he went to Montrose Harbor on Lake Michigan, took a bucket of the nastiest looking water you ever saw, poured it in the top, started drinking it. It's incredible. Costs about $30 or $40. $30 or $40 for that. And George is trying to start selling this around the world. But remember, we're dealing with some of the poorest people on earth. They pay $3.50 a week, but how can they ever get $30 or $40 or $50 together to buy this? A family in Haiti can use this for years, but they've got to have the money to buy it. That's where the second person that I'm going to tell you about comes on the scene. This is a man who took his college degree in economics in Bangladesh and changed the world. You may recognize his name, Muhammad Yunus. I met him 15 years ago in Bangladesh, one of the poorest countries on earth, and I'm honored to call him a friend. More than any living person, this man has lifted more people out of poverty than anyone in my lifetime. You know what it came from? As an economics professor, he looked around outside his college. He saw the poorest people on earth begging, and then he saw something even worse. He saw people exploiting them, loaning them small amounts of money and charging them fantastic, awful interest rates. And he said, there's got to be a better way. We ought to be able to loan a small amount of money to the poorest people on earth, and I'll bet you they'll pay it back. And he created something called Grameen Bank. Grameen Bank takes small amounts of money, $10, $15, $20, loans it to poor people, and says pay them back. 95% of those who borrow it are women, and guess what? 98% of them pay it back. And a little bit of money can change your life. $50 to a poor person to buy this so that for years they have safe drinking waters for their babies, for their family. Think of what a difference that can make. After he founded Grameen Bank, it spread around the world. Microloans, they call it. Micro-lending, they call it. We even have some of it in the city of Chicago. And what it's meant is transforming poor people into miracle life experiences. For this, Dr. Yunus has received the Nobel Peace Prize, the Congressional Medal, as well as the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Here's a mother in Benin who can care for her children because of microloan that she's long since paid back. Here's Muhammad Yunus standing with a couple people you might recognize as he receives the Presidential Medal of Freedom. We're going to bring George Page and Muhammad Yunus together. We're going to take this invention and find a way so the poorest people on earth can buy this and see their lives changed. So what does this mean to you? I was watching closely here when they had your creed that was played on the screen. Do you remember the first sentence of that creed? Can you tell it to me? The strong shall take care of the weak. With your education, with your values, with your determination, coming out of this commencement, you are entering the class of those strong enough to help the weak. Use that education. Use it to push yourself to the limit. Have a vision, have a dream, and be ready to take what you have, what God-given talents you have, to make a good life for yourself and your family, but to take care of the weak and reach out and help others. Southland Prep Class 2014 Eagles, you made history. You proved all the doubters wrong, and you made us all proud. When somebody tells you the problem's just too big, you can't do anything, remember George Page, remember Muhammad Yunus, and know that you absolutely can make the difference. We're counting on you to change the world. Thanks.
Thank you, Senator Durbin. At this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Homer Thomas, the Athletic Director and Chairman of the Ronald Blackstone Memorial Scholarship Committee. Mr. Thomas.
Good evening. The Ronald Blackstone Memorial Scholarship has been established in memory of Ronald Blackstone by his loving family, Dr. Blondine Y. Davis, Joe, Jamie, and Jesse Blackstone. Dr. Davis and the family of Ronald Blackstone are proud to announce that through the application process, Mr. Please stand, Elijah Calloway, you have been selected to be the inaugural recipient of the $5,000 Ronald Blackstone Memorial Scholarship Grant. The The judges felt that you, like Mr. Blackstone, exhibit the qualities of dedication, hard work, and diligence. The scholarship grant is intended to assist you in reaching your goals of becoming a college graduate and also fulfilling the dream that you and your family have for a successful and prosperous life. Mr. Elijah Calloway, you are the 2014 recipient of the Ronald Blackstone Memorial Scholarship. Thank you.
Congratulations, Elijah. At this time, please welcome Mr. Ron Bean, President of our Southland Board of Education. Mr. Bean.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the Board of Directors of Southland College Prep Charter High School, I want to welcome all of you to this afternoon ceremony. I want to thank Senate Majority Leader Richard Durbin for his presence here today. It's truly an honor to have you join us as we celebrate our first graduation. Thanks and welcome also to our elected officials present here. Your support has been crucial to our success. State Senator Kyle Hastings, State Representative Al Riley, Judge Lindsey Jones, Mayor Debbie Myers Martin, Mayor Andre Ashmore, Mayor Vivian Covington. The success we celebrate today is a result of several factors: willing students, competent and dedicated faculty, committed administration, engaged board of directors, all supported by parents and guardians who have done their job. We thank you for the opportunity to mold your sons and daughters. It's been a pleasure. Madam Superintendent, as President of the Board of Directors of Southland College Prep Charter High School, I authorize you to confer diplomas to the 2014 class of Southland by virtue of the power vested in me by the Illinois State Board of Education and the Illinois School Code.
It is now my pleasure to introduce Ian Katiku with a special message for our parents, guests, and graduates. Ian Katiku has a GPA of 4.61 and is ranked number 8 in the class of 2014. Ian received the Prairie State Achievement Award for exceeding the Illinois learning standards in reading and science. Ian has also been recognized as a Questbridge College Prep Scholar and was named a National College Match recipient in December. He has participated in numerous clubs and activities, serving as Interact President and National Honor Society Treasurer. As a member of the speech team, he won many awards, competing in extemporaneous and impromptu speaking. Ian has also been a member of the Student Council, the National Forensic League, and President of the Future Business Leaders of America in his sophomore year. Ian will be attending Columbia University, New York City, with a full 4-year scholarship from Questbridge. Majoring in financial economics, let's welcome Ian Katiku.
There comes a time in our lives when all we have been working for comes to fruition. And for the Southland College Prep Charter High School class of 2014, that time has come. When our goals are accomplished, we can allow ourselves time to celebrate. But there are times when we must meet our success with dignity and decorum. The graduation ceremony is a festive occasion, but also a formal academic event. Therefore, students and their guests are expected to maintain a measure of decorum consistent with the occasion. When my classmates walk across the stage, it will be a time for reflection, a time for dignity, and a time for us to exercise proper decorum. Southland College Prep is a family. We have struggled together for 4 years to reach this point. Now that our goals have been achieved, every student deserves to hear their name, and every family deserves to hear their child honored. Let the names be called here today be ingrained in our hearts and our memories for these are the students who blaze a trail at Southland College Prep. As the graduates and administration approach the podium to begin the distribution of diplomas, we ask that you please refrain from distracting applause and any other forms of acknowledgement for the individual students until all the graduates have received their diplomas. We ask that you give every single graduate the respect as his or her name is called. Each graduate and their family are deserving of the dignity of hearing the graduate's name called. When the last student walks across the stage and the time for reflection has passed, then it will be time to celebrate. Then we can let loose the excitement of a long journey completed. Then we can celebrate the success of the entire family. We appreciate your cooperation in maintaining a dignified ceremony.
Abercrombie. Taylor Allen. Kayla Boyd. Morgan Brown. Isabella Brumfield. Kendall Brunson. Kirsten Burke. Monet Bird. Elijah Calloway. Jada Carr. Lene Chambers. Ariel Charles. Clinique Childs. Matthew DeBose. Jillian Dorney. Akia Duncan. Nadia Ferrer. Antoinette Grizel. Maya Hackett. Mariah Hackett. Hazlett. Janae Hedgeman. Janae Henderson. Marquise Hill. Reginald Holmes. Atlanta Hubbard. Ashley Jackson. Desandria James. Asia Jenkins. Ian Katiku. Alexis Larkin. Alicia Larkin. Andre Leitner. Devin McDonald. Leah Mitchell. Christopher Morris. Tyree Nelson. Donovan Nesbitt. Tamara Newburn. Alexis Newsom. Dante Nix. Famia Nunn. Delashante Okafor Smith. Caven Phipps. Antoine Pitts McCoy. Alexis Reed. Classy Rhymes. Jaleesa Richardson. Kyla Richardson. Alicia Rucker. Michelle Sanders. Joshe Silk. Imani Thornton. Marcel Van Arsdale. Latia Weathers. Wendell Weaver. Raven Williams. Tierra Williams. Sarabi Woods. Arana Wynn. And Perry Sibby.
Graduates, ladies and gentlemen, graduates, it is my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce the Southland High School graduating class of 2014. Graduates, move your tassels. Now, it is a tremendous honor for me to call forward the second class of 2014 salutatorian, Asia Jenkins. Asia is also ranked number 2 in the class with a GPA of 4.69. Asia received the Prairie State Achievement Award for exceeding the Illinois Learning Standards in math and science. Asia has been recognized as a Questbridge College Prep Scholar and was named a National College Match recipient in December. Asia has been an active member in her community, developing service projects such as One Bracelets for Patients. Asia is an official graduate of the National Honor Society and has participated in various activities outside of school related to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. She participated in the STEM program at UIC, the EDGE program at Purdue University, and she has had involvement with Project Sincere. In December, Asia was awarded a full scholarship to Vanderbilt University through Questbridge. Asia will be attending Vanderbilt as an aspiring chemical engineer, where she hopes to begin a career designing sustainable beauty products for consumers. Please welcome Asia Jenkins.
As infants, we develop a close attachment to our parents, an inherent dependency. We feel safe in their presence and almost incomplete in their absence. I think we can all think back to our very first day of kindergarten. Just about all of us were anxious and slightly afraid of what we would be getting ourselves into. I'm sure we can all remember the dramatic walk to the door of the classroom. Our parents were giving us a pep talk, telling us that we would be fine, telling us that we had nothing to fear, and that when we go through the door, we would forget how scared we were to begin with. Good afternoon, faculty, family, friends, parents, and administration. It is with honor and great pleasure that I pay a much-needed tribute to the parents who are still leading us to doors. Doors of new challenges, new opportunities, and new instances of growth. Through our walks to these doors, they've challenged us to face our fears. They've encouraged us to stay focused. And most importantly, they've instilled in us the courage to actually open and go through these doors. An African proverb says, "Smooth seas do not make skillful sailors." In every walk and in every long journey, there are a couple, sometimes several, bumps along the road. Although unbeknownst to us at the time, these bumps in the road are actually advantageous. As maturing adults, we often feel the need to show our parents how independent we are and that we don't need them as much as they think we do. Even though we develop a greater sense of appreciation when bumping heads with our parents, a piece of advice would be to listen to them, because we do need them. For example, in November, as I was wrapping up my final applications for college and writing final essays, I thought my job was finished. My mother asked me constantly, "Asia, is there anything I need to do?" I kept telling her, "Mom, I got this." She took my word and let me handle it. A couple of days before the due date, Ian was explaining how long it took him to fill out the financial forms that the schools needed to complete the application. It was at this moment that I realized that I had not done this. Long story short, there was no way that I could get my mom's financial information and fax it to 5 schools in 2 days. So my mom took over the process. Of course she was livid, but she still took over without a single complaint. There may be times when we feel like we have it under control and that we don't need our parents' input. But trust me, we do. Today, as we celebrate this momentous occasion, we would like to thank all of the parents for your involvement and the constant support that you've given to us. We'd like to thank you for the undying and unconditional love that you've shown us, for the important lessons you have taught us, for the great advice and incessant stories you have shared with us, for the values you have instilled in us, and most importantly, for the legacy you have passed on to us. Words alone cannot express our gratitude. As we celebrate, we would like to dedicate our success to all of the parents here today, and to those who cannot be here as well. We love and cherish you, and we are eternally indebted to you. Without you, we would still be those little kids, too afraid to experience what's on the other side of the door. Thank you again, and congratulations to the class of 2014.
For the first time in history, the entire Southland family has come together. When I look into the audience, I see the Friends of Southland, members of sororities and fraternities, village officials, all friends of Southland. I see educators from the elementary, secondary, and college levels, also friends of Southland. I see and I recognize those of you who spent many years fighting for equality, public education throughout this nation, many now since retired, but still friends of Southland. But I also see the expressions on the faces of the parents of the graduates. I see expressions that reflect emotions that perhaps developed the first time that you held your child in your arms. I see your love, your pride, and your anticipation of the future. I see also in your faces that the clouds have parted, and you have a sense of peace. Rather than the road described by Robert Frost in his favorite poem, and you know what I'm talking about, two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and I sorrow I could not travel both, and be one traveler long I stood to where I bent in the undergrowth. As parents, you see clearly the path that your children will take in the next 4 years. And you can see the parameters of what I would like to call the next chapter. Behind me and throughout the audience are members of various boards of education. I'd like to acknowledge the 227 board president. I know that she's here. I'd like to acknowledge the members of the 162 board. I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Barbara Radner from DePaul, who was one of our founding members of the Southland board. She also is here. I'd also like to take this opportunity to introduce you to people who are supportive and work with me each and every day. You've met the president of the board. Our vice president of Southland is here, Alicia Rodman McCrae. You also see at the end of the dais Kevin Murphy, who is secretary to the board, and our very own dean, now provost of Governor State University. All of these people share the responsibility for the board. May we give them a round of applause. Our speaker was Senator Durbin, and you may have thought that I simply wrote him a letter and asked him if he would come, and he responded. Senator Durbin is actually very familiar with us. He visited us 2 years ago. About a year ago, he called and asked, just how are we doing? And one of the things that he said to me, and we heeded your advice, and that none of our students were to be going to for-profit colleges. So we were conscious of the fact that there are those out there that might seek to make money on the education of our children, and so we steered clear to that. But the other thing that perhaps you're not aware is that we're very involved with Senator Durbin and his staff with a number of grant proposals. And when you listen to me at board meetings and I announce that, for example, $461,000 last month in a federal grant that is going to promote wellness and physical education, we acknowledge Senator Durbin. He's always there for us. He always gives us letters. He always gives us our support. So he's not just here tonight simply to speak. I think he's following through on his commitments. A round of applause for him. But our state senator is always with us, and he too visited Southland, and I think he visited at a time when we were in a little bit of turmoil just to see who we were. But since then, he has gained a sense of confidence. He certainly is our supporter, and I'd like to ask him at this time if he would come and share something with us. Senator Hastings, please.
Well, good evening. It's a distinct honor to stand before our nation's future leaders, and congratulations to the class of 2014. We're very proud of you. So I had that opportunity this past week to brag about the Chicago Southland, and more importantly, Southland College Preparatory Charter High School. I read something on the floor that not many senators get a chance to read. It's a proclamation, and I just wanted to read it to you all. Whereas that Southland College Preparatory Charter High School has been a bastion of academic excellence since its inception in 2010, and whereas through insightful teaching techniques and a solid support structure, students at Southland College Preparatory are poised for future success in whatever they endeavor and whatever they set out upon. Whereas the 71 students of the class of 2014 at Southland College Prep earned scholarship offers totaling, and at the time I wrote this, it was 5.5, but we're going to change it to $7.6 million from colleges and universities ranging from Columbia in New York to Vanderbilt University in Tennessee. And through their hard work and desire for academic greatness, the 71 students of the class of 2014 at Southland College Prep will all be advancing to the collegiate academic level for the fall of 2014. And whereas the hard work and determination and efforts by all the students, as well as the guidance, support, and leadership of Southland College Prep, teachers and CEO Dr. Blondine Davis reflect greatly on their families and community, and therefore be it resolved by the Senate of the 98th General Assembly of the State of Illinois that we recognize the students of the class of 2014 at Southland College Prep for their incredible achievements. It's proclaimed by the Senate of the 98th General Assembly by the State of Illinois that we congratulate you on your hard work and determination in bringing this resolution to fruition, and be it further proclaimed that a suitable copy of this proclamation will be presented today to one of the best academic leaders that we have in our state, to Dr. Blondine Davis, and thank you very much, ma'am, for all you do.
Some of you might have perhaps doubted that this moment would come. I never doubted. Our fight, our struggle was about one thing, something that is very simple in principle, yet complex in execution: the quality education of our children. But let's think for a second. Let's examine the struggle in the big picture. Could we possibly imagine that a few thunderstorms that we experience could compare in any way to the struggle and the sacrifice of our ancestors who fought throughout this country for the right to vote, the right to educate their children? They fought on the steps of the University of Alabama. They fought in our courts for the landmark decision, Brown versus the Board of Education. So, in comparison, for us, there was really no fight. All we did, we walked together steadfastly and resolutely towards our common goal. But in reality, we were always at peace because we simply focused on the faces of our children. As I glance back, I really don't remember the struggle. What I know now, and I always knew, that we could together build an institution that reflects our core values, build an institution based on what we know to be true. It is stated so well by Ron Edmonds, founder of the Central Schools Movement, it is possible to educate all children and to do it well. The issue is whether or not we choose to do it. Just think how profound that statement is, whether we as adults choose to do it. Did I have reservations about our ability to succeed? The answer is absolutely no. The knowledge, the strategies, the approach to building an educational institution that would serve all of its students and to do it well, it's not a secret. The blueprint was known to the experienced team of educators who presented to the Illinois State Board of Education. We simply said, Southland will educate all of the children to have the competence, the skills, and the mindset to enter college, be successful, and graduate. We will educate all children to be thinking, creative, and intuitive. We will reach into our past and identify the core values that we know to be essential for a productive, successful life. Integrity, honesty, respect for hard work. And you know what else? To do the right thing even if it is unpopular. We sought the right to become a school with the primary goal of educating our children to give leadership in what we know to be a global society, a technologically rich society, but it's also a world that's constantly changing, and that makes our task more complex. The positive response of the Illinois State Board gave us that opportunity. So as the family assembles here today in celebration, there are just a few people I would like to thank, and I'm really not going to make a big thing out of it, but we all know that Ron Anderson is just magnificent. But what you might not know about him, Southland is his first high school. He comes from a college. He was a college admissions officer at several various colleges, and I feel that this information, this experience with colleges enabled him to accomplish what he has done. And even though he's a little shy, I still want to acknowledge him. But where would we be also without our directors? Somewhere in the audience is Chip Johnson. Andrea Kidd, of course, is here with me. And you parents know this perhaps better than anyone else, but it was never intended that Southland would have sports. But I would say that the class of 2014 had other ideas. And so our athletic director is here with us, but just think of this. He created a program where none existed, and now over 210 students participate under the banner of Southland Eagles. Thank you, Mr. Thomas. And students, every day you probably see one, if not both, of the two individuals that I'm going to mention, and I know that you know who they are. The ducks in line, Lee Stanton, and on the other hand, Doug Hamilton. These individuals, a round of applause, please. But they really are my right hand. I listen to those who congratulate me. You have no idea of the expertise of the staff that has brought us here today. So I'm forever grateful, but I'm never, ever in a point where I delude myself into thinking that this is something that is about me. So I thank all of you from the bottom of my heart. And now to my precious students, the first graduates of Southland College Prep. You're in the process of writing a new chapter, the next chapter. But earlier in the week, I watched your legacy video to the junior class, and I heard almost everyone say that you're nervous, you're anxious, you're worried about the change, you're worried about the lack of structure, and our little Ian about too much freedom. But that, of course, is characteristic of Ian. You know, a little anxiety is natural, but I absolutely know that you're prepared. You've gone to high school in a college prep environment defined by rigor, high expectations, a European length of the school day. And listen to this, very similar to the amount of time that you will devote to study in your college years. So you're prepared. But on a personal level, I know you to have stamina. I know that you not only rise to, you just absolutely relish a challenge. I know that you have determination and you have high expectations for yourself. Absolutely, you are competitive, not only with each other, but just in general. I think that is magnificent. I know that none of you are easily intimidated, and that's a good quality to have. I know that some of you have a touch of arrogance, and you know what? That's all right. That's all right. I also know, however, that there are going to be challenges. You're going to be leaving not only Southland, but the South Suburban community. Most of you are going far away from what you know and have known for the past 18 years. You're going to see some new people. They won't all look like you. Let me tell you, that's good. That's good. There's nothing wrong with that. You're going to go to school with students that have different backgrounds. You're every bit as qualified as any student that you might sit beside in class, as long as you study. But it is a challenge. It's a mindset change. But I want to caution you, never, never walk away. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. This class has over $7 million in scholarships. Most of you are at least 75% or higher. How could you even think of giving up this opportunity? So no matter what the challenges are, no matter what the stress, what I want you to do is what we've taught you to do. You know, at Southland, we do not necessarily teach you to memorize information. We taught you something that is much more lasting. The greatest skill that you have is the skill to analyze and engage in a mental exercise of logical, sequential thinking, leading to the cause of a problem and eventually to a solution. So you know what I want you to do? If you have a problem, you're worried and you don't know what to do, I want you to go to a place of solitude, a place that is quiet. Don't listen to anyone else. Simply go within, and I want you to begin to go through this process of logically thinking through the problem. I want you to think first about what are the consequences if I take no action? What would happen to me? Usually taking no action is a mistake. But I also want to think, you to think also, you're in a college environment. These are educators, very similar to the teachers sitting behind you. Guess what? Teachers listen. And if you're struggling academically and you go to them, they will help you. But perhaps you're just so confused that you're not sure what you should do. Behind the teachers are parents. Behind the parents are community members. The Southland family is huge. There's someone sitting in this auditorium that has the solution to your problem. But you know what else I want you to think about? Today, we're actually not saying goodbye. I don't believe in that. Because I believe if you're going to be successful, that our commitment to you has to last longer than today. I believe that as you go away to these colleges when you have problems, that you're going to need to pick up that phone and to call us, and that you would know in your heart and in your mind that there's going to be a positive response. That has to be. You might think, well, what do they have to do with it? All of us have been there. But more than that, the commitment to you, the commitment that we made to the Illinois State Board, the commitment that we made to your parents, what we feel in our hearts and the reason that we dedicate ourselves to you is for only one reason, a brighter future. If we don't follow you through to the end, if we don't walk with you, then that's really not achieving what we said we were going to do. So you're going to have problems. You can solve them sometimes by yourself, as long as you're thinking this through and you're intuitive. You can reach out to your parents. But we're in the process now of doing something else that may be unique, but perhaps not. And that is, we have many representatives of sororities and representatives of fraternities here. They're going to take each of your names and they're going to identify a family that lives somewhere near you so that you have someone else to reach out to that's very close that you might confide in. In other words, we're going to continue along with the class of 214. And what we're also going to do in December, you're coming home. We're calling you home. That's our first homecoming. And with you, some of you are going to bring all kinds of tales of joy and happiness. And some of you are going to bring back some problems, but that's okay. Because we have to lay eyes on, and we have to remember when we say all in, the all in is supposed to be us in with you also. Over the years, I will continue personally to follow and rejoice with you as you complete each chapter of your book. But what I want you to know, not only do you define Southland, you define me. You define me. And as I leave you this evening with my congratulations, I also leave my love, my continuing commitment. But there are 3 soloists that are going to come to you at this point, and that's how we're going to end. But I'm going to give you a song. It's a song that I think is going to speak to your hearts, to your souls, and to your minds. And if you think back over today and you don't remember what anyone else says, I hope you're going to remember the beauty of what is said to you and conveyed to you through music. So as I conclude, the next chapter is going to be an exciting one. I feel it, I know it, I believe it. But I just want to say to you, Mr. Nelson, as the group comes, there's nothing I'm more privileged to do than to continue to walk with you.
A friendship that will never end. For when you are weak, I will be strong, helping you to carry on. Count on me, I will be there. Don't be afraid. Please believe me when I say, count on me. In this very room, there's quite enough love for one like me. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for one like me. There's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For you all, and we all touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. See me running through that open door. I can fly. 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 Keep soaring. I can fly. You'll be soaring. I can fly. Oh, soaring. I can fly.
Mrs. Kidd, I ask you to recess the class of 2014 for one last time.